Welcome back to another episode of the Neurodivergent Struggles podcast. I'm here with my lovely co-host, Emily, and we have another exciting show for y'all today. We're talking about the experience that people have when they're diagnosed later in life with ADHD and autism.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a great episode, and I'll kick things off to Emily
Yes.
to give her initial thoughts on the first thing that comes to mind when you hear late diagnosed autism, ADHD.
Me. Me.
Okay.
I mean, I know we kind of wanted to talk on even older, but being diagnosed at 27 or 28, I guess it would be 28, or I just newly turned 28.
That's early.
Yeah, that's super early. It really had an effect on my life not being diagnosed until I was almost 30. Diagnosed with autism and ADHD, sorry. And there's part of me that thinks, would I have grown up differently? Would my life look different if I were diagnosed earlier? Would my parents have treated me differently? Would I have had different opportunities? Or do you think that it actually would have hurt me growing up? Not having to, mask, or, when I was growing up as a kid or as adolescent, autism and ADHD weren't really talked about at that time, to where maybe I would have been judged, maybe even put in special classes and things like that. And I think that would have actually hurt me.
Wow. Good point.
So who knows? It's just, would my life have looked different? Would I have been able to, if I was medicated, sit down and become a doctor or a lawyer, or, anything other than what I'm doing now, which is in being creative, and I'm an actor and singer and all that fun stuff, like everybody here in Los Angeles. But, what would my life have looked like? Who knows?
That's interesting. You mentioned becoming a doctor multiple times, and it's never too late to become a doctor. So you can still do it if you want to.
No, thank you.
You can still become a doctor.
Listen, I watched The Pit. I can't deal with that. Did you watch The Pit?
I don't.
Oh my God, it's so good. You should watch it.
Yeah, you've told me to watch it before.
I know, you have to listen to me. It's
a long list of shows I got to get to.
Oh, The Pit should be on the top.
The Pit.
It's set in Pittsburgh. It's about an emergency room. Each episode is just 1 hour in one full day. So I think they do like 10. Wow. Yeah, they do like 10 episodes a season, or maybe even less, maybe like 8. But each episode is just 1 hour of their day in the emergency room. And it is fascinating. And they show a lot. It's not like Grey's Anatomy where they kind of show some operations. Like this, they're showing everything.
The Pit. I may have to watch that.
And I'm like watching it and I'm like, no thanks. I don't need to be around all of that. That would be really difficult. Oh, but in The Pit, there's actually a character who's diagnosed autism.
Oh, okay.
And she's a doctor, and you can tell, I think.
An autistic doctor.
Well, I think her sister definitely has autism, and she has some traits of autism as well. I don't know if it's actually come out fully that she's autistic, but she has those traits for sure. So that's something really interesting that you should look at.
Okay.
For sure,
well,
you should watch.
You give me some more ammo as to why this show could be good.
Yes. Yeah, and it's pretty realistic, or it feels realistic, which is super cool. But anyways, sorry, that was my little tangent.
I'll
for
keep
today.
that in mind too.
That was my little tangent for today. But
undiagnosed neurodivergence. I like how you said that you weren't sure whether an autism or ADHD diagnosis would have held you back in school, because you could be in special classes. And also it's a label. I think when you're young, during those formative years, knowing that you have ADHD and or autism could make you feel a certain type of way.
Yeah.
Especially if nobody else is talking about it.
Yeah.
Then you're like, damn, I'm the only autistic person here. I'm the only one with ADHD. I may have to be in special ed. They give me a 504 or IEP plan. Then you just feel different from the other kids.
Yeah.
I never looked at it from that perspective. But I think that could have been a thing because I was in special ed classes.
Mm-hmm.
I was in special ed in elementary school, but it was primarily because we were zoned for a bad school because we lived in the projects.
Mm.
So my mom went up to the school administrators and said that her kids don't know how to speak English. So we were able to go to a different school, and I was in special ed, and I was also in ESL, English as a second language. I was the one teaching the class.
Yeah.
I had better English than the teacher.
Yeah.
And all the students. And even in special ed, I was the one helping out the other kids who had, Down syndrome, other disabilities,
Mm-hmm.
the kids who, were in wheelchairs. I was kind of like how in college you have like the grad assistant.
Oh yeah.
I was like the teacher's helper. Yeah. I was like the TA in special ed helping out the kids who were more special than me, for lack of a better term. So, but the funny thing about it is I didn't know I was in special ed. Like I would come off the short yellow bus and the kids would be laughing.
I was just about to say that.
The kids would be laughing.
I was like, were you on the short bus?
I was in the short bus. The kids would laugh, but then I would laugh with the kids because I thought that they were laughing at something that was funny.
Oh.
But I know they were laughing at me.
Oh, Kojo.
See, the neurodivergence protected me because I know what was going on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I had no idea. It wasn't until I got a little older that I'm like, damn, I'm not supposed to be on this bus.
No.
like this bus right here. Because I was wondering why all the other kids in the bus had like a disability.
Yeah.
Like we had kids that couldn't speak English. We had a blind girl called Megan with braids.
I love how you remember all this stuff.
I remember it vividly.
Yeah.
And then the whole time, it never dawned on me that I was special too.
Yeah.
So it can be a hit on your self-esteem to be in those classes. But, you talked about missed potential.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who are undiagnosed can relate to that specific part.
Yeah. I think, kind of going back to being in special ed and stuff like that, when we were growing up, I've said this on every episode, autism wasn't talked about. ADHD wasn't talked about. It was like, very hush-hush behind the scenes, to where now that I look back on it, I'm like, if I got diagnosed, I was doing really, really well in school. I did not have to apply myself. I was super smart. I have a super high IQ. I did not have to apply myself in school. So, but I'm now that I think back, if I was diagnosed, would I just automatically be put in a special ed class or anything like that just because of that diagnosis? Yeah. Not because I actually needed the help, but just because of the diagnosis. That definitely could have happened when we were growing up. Now, I don't think that would happen now because autism and ADHD is talked about a lot more. People are a lot more open about it. And people at 28, 30, 40, 50 are going out and getting diagnosed like super late, obviously. So it's definitely more of an open thing, but yeah, if I think back to it, I could have been taken from my super special, super smart classes down to special ed just because of a diagnosis like that. And I don't think I've ever thought about it that way, just as because of the time that we were growing up in.
Right.
But
the missed potential. Do you feel do you feel like you didn't maximize on your potential because of undiagnosed autism and ADHD?
For sure. I mean, I think my life could have been a lot easier because even though I was doing really, really well in school, I was procrastinating everything until the last second. I was, and I would sit there and get anxious about it, but not do it until the last minute. And so I think I would have had a much easier time if I was medicated, if like, Same. And I think I've talked about this in a previous episode. My sister had the more outward, we think she's not diagnosed, but we think she has had the more outward ADHD or autism. And so my parents really, really focused on her because she wasn't good at test taking. She wasn't good at studying, things like that. And so that actually affected her schooling and her grades. Where Emily is like, whatever, she's, it might take her a week, to do this homework assignment, but she's getting straight A's, so it doesn't really matter. So a lot of my parents just kind of prioritized my sister when it came to that, just because I was doing well. So they're like, oh, she doesn't need any help. I think if I had been diagnosed, maybe put on a little bit of medication to help me throughout the day, my life would have been a lot easier.
Yeah.
A lot easier. And I think I would have had the drive to do something bigger and something greater. I mean, don't get me wrong, what I'm doing now, being an actor, and the schooling that I went through at NYU in the acting program was not easy by any means. And I had to take regular classes at NYU as well, so it wasn't just like acting classes and nothing else. But when I did have acting classes, it was very strenuous, very like super exhausting, and really hard classes. So it's not easy what I decided to do and be an actor. But I do feel like I might have, I don't know, been a pharmacist or something, and had a job that has maybe a little bit more financial security other than being an actor.
That's interesting.
I think that's the main thing, is the financial security. Not that, I mean, of course, being an actor is very, very different than saying, like, it's hard. It's not the same type of hard as going to medical school or going to law school. It's not the same type of hard, but they're both hard. I think it's more so not the earning potential, but the financial stability that I would have chased instead of becoming an actor and never knowing when you're going to get booked and if you're going to get booked at all, and then are you going to be able to pay your bills and all of that stuff.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because one thing that every neurodivergent person needs is the ability to regulate yourself. Everybody should know that, but when you're neurodivergent, you have to pay attention to your nervous system, regulating it, and what makes you feel safe. For me, growing up in the projects and never having money and witnessing my parents having to borrow money from people just so that we could, make ends meet. And speaking of making ends meet, our ends never met. It was quite challenging, not having money. So I didn't know that I was neurodivergent then, but I knew that I had something. And I knew that financial security was the number one priority for me. Because even without a knowledge of ADHD and autism, I knew that I had something that would require me needing a lot of help. And I didn't know how much help I would need as an adult. Now that I'm older, I see that I need a lot of help. I need a housekeeper. I need an assistant. I need the help of Jackie. I need
shout out Jackie.
Shout out Jackie.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
I need a lot of help, and asking for help is embarrassing.
She helps both of us. We love Jackie.
and we need the help.
Yeah.
It's so important, and one of the best things that you can do for yourself as a neurodivergent is to set up a system where you can get that help, and help costs money.
Help does cost money.
So I think the ADHD side of me drove me to get through school.
That's so interesting.
Because I could not be poor. I didn't know what I was going to be, but I knew that I could not be poor because I just hated asking my dad for $10 in college. And he would give me $15, and then I would just go crazy. I got $15.
Yeah.
Like that changed. Like I could make $15 stretch for a whole week in college. And I just hated how being poor dominated everything. I remember taking a girl to movies in college, and halfway, between the car to the movie theater, I stopped and I asked her, I'm like, hold up, is this free? And she's like, Kojo, yeah, we're students here. It's free. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. Because I know if I had enough money to, she might want some popcorn.
Right.
And I got $7 and I'm trying to stretch for the rest of the week. God, and the popcorn could be half of my money.
Yeah.
And I got to go text my dad or go to the bathroom, or try and like lower my brightness and text my dad like, hey dad, like I need some extra funds. But it just dominated my life. it's one thing to be neurodivergent, and it's a whole other thing to be neurodivergent and poor.
I was just about to say how insane it is, how your upbringing and the cards that you were dealt really dictate how your autism or ADHD shine through, if that makes sense. For you, you said, I have to be financially stable. I have to get through high school and college, so I'm going to work really, really extra hard to make sure that I am financially stable, because you grew up in a bad financial situation. Where my parents were upper middle class, did very well for themselves. Not the whole time I was obviously alive. My parents were very poor from at the beginning when I was a baby, but then my dad kind of popped off and was able to make a lot of money. And so my thing was going to school. I'm like, well, I want to do something creative, because that scratches the itch. Because subconsciously, I'm thinking to myself, well, my parents did well, and that means I can do well. And I never knew what it was like to be afraid of not having my next meal, or am I going to be able to make rent? Or I never knew what that was like. And when I was little and my parents were like that, they did a really good job at shielding me and my sister from it. But yeah, so I was like, well, let me go do something that like scratches my brain in the right way. Let me go be creative, because that's what I want to do. I wasn't even thinking about the financial part of it. So it's crazy how some people with almost the same diagnosis, just how we were raised, made us branch into two separate things. Well, now, obviously, at the time, you probably weren't thinking like, oh, well, I'm going to do social media. It wasn't really a thing.
Not at all.
Yeah. You're like, but this is how you get your creative itch now.
Yeah.
And so luckily, you've made it through the financial part. I became a doctor. I did that whole thing. Now I can do the creative thing on top of that. But yeah, before you were just like, okay, money, money, money. You have to do it for the money. Like, you have to be better for the money. Whereas my brain goes, well, no, I have to do something creative, because that's what I'm good at and that's what I want to do,
Yeah, and I think that the neurodivergent playbook is do something that makes you money and helps you live, and then go do your creative passion. That's what I would give, that's the advice I give people, because that's what worked for me. And it gives you a floor, because nobody knows how high you can go. Like, potential is unlimited. We can do whatever we put our minds to, but it gives you a stable floor. And I feel like that's financial trauma on my end from not having much. And even that's the way that our parents, raised us, because they didn't have much money. And I would see them doing odd jobs, and they would take any job, BP gas station, janitorial work, to make the ends meet. And I just saw how rough things were for them. I never saw my parents have fun. They weren't affectionate. It was just, we had to make it from Monday to Tuesday, Tuesday to Wednesday, back around to Monday.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and I knew that it just wasn't a life worth living. So that fear of failure and the fear of being broke is one of my biggest motivators.
Especially coming from an immigrant family too. That's a whole nother level on top of it, right? And I don't want to speak for you, because that's your experience, not mine, but just from what we see in this country, we have the most amazing immigrants come from all across the world, and they work their asses off for no pay. Just to scrape by, and they have kids that are, that they have to take care of, and it's the pressure. And your parents work their asses off to say, this is my American dream, even though at the time it probably felt like they were getting the short end of the stick. They have to work all of these odd jobs. But now and then they have kids, and then those kids grow up and say, well, I have to be the American dream for my parents who worked so, so, so hard. So I think being an immigrant too, adds a whole nother layer on top of your decision making.
It does
process,
because the immigrant background, in my opinion, is one of the biggest reasons why my parents don't seek professional help, or they don't seek that deeper understanding of themselves, because you can't have all these kids that have ADHD and potentially autism and not have it yourself, at least one, if not both of the parents. But because, we're coming from Ghana, and then, we went to Norway, and then we came to Tennessee, they just don't have that, immigrant parents don't have that desire to go get a diagnosis. Whereas I view Americans, as the people who go out to get these diagnoses. So they get late diagnosed in the 30s, 40s, 50s and beyond. But my parents, they just kind of thug it out. And even now that they've gotten stable jobs, I still see the gaps between where they are and where they could be if they had that fundamental understanding of themselves.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they ever tried to regulate their emotions.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm a big fan of people getting diagnosed in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Because when you understand yourself, you can put yourself in situations where you can win.
Yeah.
You want to play games that you're set up to win.
Yeah.
Because if you're working really hard on the wrong things, or if you're just not set up in the proper way, life is going to be so hard for you. Yeah. You'll make money, then the money will go.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll make more money, then you'll get in even more trouble because you haven't figured out a system on how to live, how to pay your bills, what type of help you need, prioritizing things. Because as neurodivergents, certain things have to be prioritized.
Yeah.
Like I always prioritize efficiency and comfort.
Yeah.
I think nice things are cool, but I can live without nice things. I mean, I like my suits. I spend money on that, but I don't like nice, name brand. I don't have to have that stuff.
Yeah.
But I do have to have the help of assistants, housekeeper. A housekeeper is so crucial.
Oh yeah.
I got a housekeeper for my parents. Then my mom started cleaning before the housekeeper came. I'm like, the whole point of the housekeeper is
that's
for them
such
to
a
clean.
Mom thing to do. Oh my god.
She's trying to make the house presentable for the housekeeper.
Right, for the housekeeper.
That's the one person who's coming to help you.
Right. Oh no, but I will do the same thing with Maria. Miss Maria, we love her so much.
But what's the whole point of that? Is it a shame thing or?
Yeah. Well, I mean, at first I would do that. I'd be like, okay, Miss Maria's coming. Like I have to clean up just a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. And then as time went on, I was like, wait, that's her job. She's coming to help me. Let me accept the help. Instead of just being like, oh, well, I have, but I'll do the same thing at my boyfriend's house. He has a whole team of maids that come. And I find myself, before they come, making the bed. I'm like, why am I making the bed? I'm like, they're going to do the sheets and everything. They're going to wash everything. I'm like, why am I making the bed? I'm like, it just has to be, or like if we'll have people over the weekend, they come on Monday. Mm-hmm. I'm like cleaning up the kitchen after we have people over. Why am I doing that? Just because it makes me feel better. So they don't think we're total slobs, But yeah, I don't know why I do that. I wonder which side of me that is. Or if maybe that's just how I was raised, because maybe maybe it's not the autism or the ADHD. Maybe that's just the Italian.
I think it's a shame thing. And speaking of that, it's funny. I just got a text from the housekeeper in Washington, because I got to have one in Washington and in California.
He needs one everywhere.
No, I need the help. And they were at the house, but they're supposed to come tomorrow on Tuesday, and today's Monday. So I think we just had a little bit of a mix-up.
A mixer.
Can she come tomorrow? See, this is how important the housekeeper is for me. Yeah. That I'll text back in the middle of a podcast episode because I can't have her.
Wait, why wouldn't you want it done today? Because you're going back tomorrow.
Right, but I'm not in town.
Where are you going tomorrow?
I'm going back to Washington.
Yeah.
But I have the key.
Oh, you don't have a key. Okay, they don't have a key. Right. Gotcha. I was like, that would be nice. You show up to a perfectly cleaned house.
Now I see.
That's why Miss Maria has a key. so that I can that she can just show up whenever. I don't have to be home.
You know what? You make a good point right there. Because
and then if I come home, everything's clean.
That's a part of the system. So I need to give the housekeeper in Washington a key. See, like when one small thing is wrong in the system, you really pay for it.
Oh yeah.
Because it'd be great to go back to Washington. I go in the house and it's fully clean.
Yes.
The other day I went to the house in Washington, and the moment I opened up the house, I could smell funk. And the funk was leaving the trash inside the house.
Oh.
So I've eaten the whole week. Instead of taking the trash out, I left it inside the house. The moment I walked in,
you're like,
I could smell the funk. And, you know, we're sensory people. So now this is throwing me off. Now I have to open up the windows, and it's already cold, but it's throwing me off because the house is dirty.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like I can't work. I can't be productive if my house is dirty.
I can't do much when the house is dirty. I can't do a single thing, actually.
Yeah.
Making videos, nothing works unless I have a system.
A clean space, yeah.
Like the amount of work that it takes to be a fully functioning adult is very difficult.
But I don't think that's the neurotypical way.
I don't even know what the neurotypical way is.
Yeah, we don't know. We have Jackie. Are you neurotypical? Okay. I'm like, we need somebody's input who's neurotypical here.
I don't think I have a neurotypical friend, honestly. All my friends are ADHD, autistic, dyslexic, stoners. Like, I don't have a lot of...
that's neurodivergent. It's just smoking a bunch of weed.
No, it is. Anytime,
it makes you pretty...
Anytime I have a patient who is struggling with some type of substance use, I always think that there could be undiagnosed neurodivergence. Because nobody wakes up and they decide to be a drug addict.
We've talked about this before. Yeah, for sure.
Nobody decides to just be a drug addict on a random Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that the stoner or the, getting drunk or getting high, that's definitely something that comes with being neurodivergent. I see a lot with the undiagnosed or late in life diagnosed neurodivergence because they just don't know that this is why they do what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we went on a whole tangent, didn't we? But yeah, being an adult.
We definitely did.
Being an adult, it takes a lot of effort, and even more so, a lot of effort for people who are neurodivergent. And so, to kind of tie it back into our parents, they could have probably had a much easier time going through their whole 50-some, 60-some years of life if they were diagnosed and maybe put on a little medication.
I feel that
worked through their problems.
I feel that so deeply, and that's why one of the most common questions I get.
Therapy. Go ahead, sorry.
One of the most common questions I get is it still worth it to pursue an autism diagnosis or an ADHD diagnosis in my 40s, 50s, and 60s? Yes. And the answer is always yes, because when you understand yourself, then you can pick up the pieces of the life that you have.
Yes.
And you can close the gap between where you are and where you want to be.
Oh, yeah.
And you also, you're afforded a chance to liberate yourself of any guilt that you've carried. Because now you have autism or ADHD, and this is why you couldn't put together a system.
Yeah.
And things finally start to make sense. Because there's so many people out there who don't know themselves on that level. Yeah. And they're just repeating the same mistakes over and over and over. And it's difficult for me as somebody who does what I do, this whole brand and everything, to watch my family choose the hard way.
Yeah.
It's so difficult because they don't want to get on medications, or even I was telling my mom the other day that I need meds to sleep. And she was saying, oh, well, we'll pray for you one day so that you don't have to take medications. And that's fine, but I can pray all I want, and I can choose not to take the medications. And then I'm going to be up until 2 a.m. and then I miss my flight in the morning, and it throws me off. Like, there's no shame in taking medications at all, but it's so hard to watch your people struggle because they refuse to get the help.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's just the usual for our being an immigrant, but also on top of our parents' generation.
And being black.
And being black,
Being
yeah,
black,
absolutely, that has
being
something
black.
to do with it. Me being black. No. But yeah, just all of those things. Our parents' generation is so, oh my God, they're like the worst when it comes to, I don't need therapy. I don't have autism. I'm not ADHD. Yeah, you are. You're the poster child for those things. It got you. And therapy is helpful for everybody. There's no shame in going to therapy for anything. But our parents' generation is just like, no, I don't have that. We're good.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's all right.
It's tough when you're the only one working on your mental health in a situation. But like we've mentioned before, once you let go of your need for understanding and you stop talking to your people about it. Now, I get it. If you have a family member who's spiraling, who needs mental health help, then yes, pursue a 5150, temporary detention order, or 1013, Baker Act, whatever they call it in the different states. Pursue that to get them to where they can be safe. Mm-hmm. But when you have parents or loved ones who are relatively high functioning, but they still have some undiagnosed mental health condition, is very difficult, because sometimes they'll bleed on you, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, I have to draw the line. Like, I wish you would do better for yourself, but I can't take on the brunt of the damage, because you won't go and get the help.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we love our parents so much, and we would do anything for our parents. And, this is not to say that they're bad people, but just from that idea that there's so much shame behind medication and therapy and getting professional help, there shouldn't be. And so I really do hope that you're in your 40s, you're in your 50s, even if you're in your 60s, and you're like, life has been kind of tricky, with these certain things. Let me really look at myself. Maybe let me go talk to somebody in the industry or in the field and see, could I have autism? Could I have ADHD? And that will answer a lot of questions for you about why you did the things that you did in your life, and why it was hard for you to make friends, and what, all of these things, right?
And a point that Jackie had brought up was saying that sometimes our parents refuse to get diagnosed because they could think that it means that something is wrong with them. And I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Because if you don't go to the doctor, you don't have a label.
Right.
And if you have a label, then you can think, oh, I'm broken, I'm faulty. But I actually think that it's the reverse. Having awareness of the fact that you may have autism or ADHD or whatever it is, that gives you the ability to forgive yourself for mistakes that you've made, and then you can understand that you're human. But so many people avoid getting professional help because they don't want that label.
Yeah.
And what that label represents. They don't want to be lumped in a group with those people. Like, you'd rather say, oh, those folks over there are autistic, those folks have ADHD, those folks are dyslexic, but I'm okay.
I'm fine. Yeah.
Right. And you're not fine. And
it's so helpful to say, knowing that now that I have autism, I can look at things in my life knowing that I have to treat it a certain way. I have to approach this problem a certain way. Whereas before, I was just raw dogging, for lack of a better term. I was raw dogging life, and I'm like, this is so hard. Why is everything in this life so hard? And then, I got medicated for ADHD and a little bit of depression, and obviously my autism is tisming, but that's what it is. But now I know that I have to look at things differently.
Right.
Like, I'm more susceptible to having substance abuse problems. So I've cut back a ton on my drinking and partying and all of that stuff. I will still, Kojo saw me hungover on the couch yesterday. I will still partake, but definitely not as often as I used to, because I was like, okay, this could actually become a real problem. So knowing that, I think, well, even if you're diagnosed later in life, it'll set you up for more success, because okay, I'm autistic. I need to approach these problems this way instead of the neurotypical way.
Yeah.
Clip that. That was a good rant.
We'll clip it.
Clip it.
And
oh Jesus.
You good,
I'm just
twin?
Breaking the set now.
You good, twin?
Okay.
It reminds me of when my mom came to LA and then she found a lighter on the bed. She's like, "Are you smoking?" I'm like, "No, it's just a lighter."
I like candles.
Yeah, I just keep a lighter around because to explain, oh, I don't smoke anymore, but every now and then I do, go back into some old habits.
Yeah.
It doesn't register to her. And the first thing that she'll do is she'll judge. She'll say, "Oh, why are you smoking?" As if like she is better than whoever is smoking. And she doesn't mean to be condescending, but what she thinks of people who smoke is revealed in that moment. Oh, people who smoke, they're a little bit less than. You're hurting yourself. It's self-sabotage, not realizing what she may be doing.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's so easy to point out everybody else's flaws, but it's hard to look at yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't live in reality. A lot of people aren't grounded in reality, and they've created a world for themselves. This is the result of trauma. CPTSD specifically.
Oh, yes. We talked about that a couple episodes ago.
We have. And it's something to talk about because CPTSD is something that you see in every neurodivergent, undiagnosed or diagnosed. But when you've been through so much trauma, you will dissociate often, but then you'll create a world for yourself where you don't have any issues.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to deal with reality as it is. And it makes you feel good. It makes you feel safe. But it push you further and further away from actually fixing the problems. Because when you know that you have a certain condition, then now you know, okay, wow, I'm autistic. I have to flip things around. But if you just act as if it's not there,
right,
then you can delude yourself into thinking that everything is fine, and that when bad things happen or when you make the same mistake over and over, you can attribute it to other things instead of looking in the mirror and saying, oh my goodness, like these are the patterns that I'm doing that are maladaptive.
Yeah.
But a lot of times with the older generation, I find that the kids come and they sweep up the mess that the parents have made. And when parents have, kids who are older, then they feel as if they're done parenting.
Yeah.
So I don't have to do as much. And the kids will take care of the rest, not knowing how heavy of a burden that is.
Right.
For their lack of preparation.
It's a huge burden. Absolutely. Absolutely. You even think about older, like if you have a lot of siblings, being that older or the most responsible out of your siblings, because then you're becoming a third parent to your younger siblings. Right. That's putting that burden to be like, okay, maybe don't listen to what mom and dad said because they're putting a lot of stress and maybe they're not dealing with their feelings or emotions or their issues the right way. So I then have to teach my younger siblings, hey, maybe go this way. Maybe like try to guide them through life. That puts, somebody who's 15 years old, has 4 younger siblings, it makes them an adult very, very quickly.
Yeah. Which
is a whole nother thing. Or if you're the only one that's medicated and doing the hard stuff, the work, the therapy, all of that stuff. If you're the only one doing that, then you kind of feel a need, especially when you have younger siblings, to be like, hey, if you ever want help, if you ever want to do something, just let me know and I'll point you in the right direction. Maybe this is not the time to listen to mom and dad.
Yeah.
Because they're going to say, no, you're fine. You're not depressed. You're not bipolar. You're not whatever. They'll kind of downplay your feelings.
Are you the only one that's medicated in your family?
Me and my sister are medicated, but my parents need to be. Sorry.
Who was medicated first, your sister or you?
My sister started therapy first, but I got medicated first.
Okay.
Yeah. I forget what she's on, but she had to be on like a non-stimulant ADHD medication because she struggles with anxiety. And so they didn't want to do that to her. But for me, even though I do struggle with anxiety, my psychiatrist was like, we'll just give you a dose and see how you feel. And I've been fine on Wellbutrin XL, and I absolutely love it. Even though it is a stimulant antidepressant, we still love it. But it's changed my life, getting medicated.
Yeah, I'm the only one who's medicated in my family, which is kind of crazy to to believe, because I know that the neurodivergence runs. The neurodivergence runs up and down and left to right, deep into the family.
Oh yeah.
So for me, it's a sore spot just watching the self-sabotage.
Oh yeah.
And just looking at it, and at a certain point you stop talking, because I've mentioned these things before, and I do believe that the reason why a lot of my family refuses to seek help or get medications is because they'll feel like that's them admitting that something is wrong with them.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest. It's shame. All of it is shame.
Oh, it's fully shame.
Shame prevents you from getting the help that you need, and you'd rather sit there and not acknowledge what's going on.
Yeah.
And they see what I've been able to do since I was medicated. They see like what I've done, but it doesn't really register. And it makes sense, because people normally have to feel worse before they make a change. Like just knowing better doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
You normally need a traumatic situation to happen, or something, that you didn't want, to happen. And that's what happened to me. I've been taking meds since I was 26, and I stopped for a while.
Yeah.
But there was a December, maybe my first December in LA. Yeah. December 2021. December 2021, I lost $8,000 that month because I couldn't make a couple of videos to submit to a brand. And I couldn't make the videos because I couldn't get out of bed. So I just told the brand, I'm like, all right, I couldn't make it, and we just moved on. All I had to do was make the videos, but I couldn't make the videos because I couldn't get out of bed. And my medications would normally help me get out of bed. And that's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about I don't know if they have a line to draw, but I draw the line at losing money. Going back to that financial trauma and not having anything, and seeing how rough life is for people who don't have anything.
Yeah.
I said, nah, this can never happen again.
Yeah.
Because with brand deals, you might have to wait 8-9 months before that happens again.
Yep.
So that's where I draw the line, losing money.
Yeah, the same thing happened to me. I got, before I was medicated, I was like, I'm doing all of these auditions, but I would wait until the last second and then miss out on some. Like, I wouldn't be able to submit them in time because I just was procrastinating. Wow. Then I got medicated, and I'm like, all right, let's get my auditions done. And I'm like, early. I'm like, they're all submitted early. I'm like really doing a good job at making sure, okay, I have to do 5 this day, and then 4 this day, and then blah, 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 and keep going. But that's where I was like, ooh, maybe I need some help, because this seems really difficult. It shouldn't be this difficult, but it feels really, really difficult to have to get up and do these auditions and then submit them and do all of this stuff. So once I got medicated, I was like, no, this is so much easier. So exactly, it's the same thing where it's like, I could have booked those jobs and made a bunch of money. And that's when I was like, ooh, yeah, medication probably
You just
help.
Couldn't get it done in time.
Yeah, I would like leave it to the last second, or I would just forget about it. I'm like, oof.
Wow.
And
normally people who grow up in chaos really crave order. Did you have a chaotic childhood, or it was orderly?
It was pretty orderly.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was crazy by any means. And like I said, I always did really well in school, and I never had to apply myself. But as you get older, and then also being an actor, where these auditions you're doing for free, this isn't, you don't have the job when you do the audition. So there was a part in my brain that's like, well, if I don't get it done, I don't get it done. It's fine. It's not like I'm on some deadline and I'm not going to get paid if I don't get this job done. I might not get paid. I might do the audition and might not book it and not get paid anyways. So that's where my brain started to go. So like not having a ton of structure. So what now I've implemented in my life is my week is, when I'm not on set, is very structured thanks to my medication. It's like I do the same thing every single day, so that my ADHD is focused during the week. And then when I'm on set, it's like it scratches that autism part of my brain that's like, ooh, we're doing something different and like fun today. I'm like, I don't want to have to like stay in one place, and it's just everything is a little bit different. But yeah, so I've had to really implement a lot of structure into my life for me to succeed.
Yeah.
And I think the medication has helped that a ton.
And those are things that you can do once you know that you're autistic or have ADHD. Put structure in your life.
Yeah.
Which is once again why the diagnosis is so helpful, because not having structure is a fast track to depression.
Yes.
Not knowing the difference between a Tuesday and a Saturday, waking up whenever you want to wake up, sleeping whenever you want to sleep.
Oh boy, yeah.
Doing whatever you want to do, even if that's, like what you like to do, just kind of like lazy the day away.
Yeah.
That's one of the worst things that you can do for yourself. Now, you should have a day where you do nothing. I believe in nothing days.
Absolutely.
And now I have forced myself to take nothing days because it's so hard for me to detach myself from the work. So I force myself to have a day where I play video games until I'm tired of it. And then after that, go play basketball, go work out. But I do nothing. Don't even look at the laptop. Because if I look at it, I'm going to get
sucked into work and
into a deep dive and trying to fix things. So we need nothing days. But structure is mandatory for every neurodivergent. And when you're undiagnosed and you have no idea what's going on, then you make the same mistakes over and over and over and over again. And until you hit a rock bottom, you won't make a change.
Yeah. And I guess I'm thinking back to what I just said, and I think I said it the opposite way, but the autism part of me likes the structure, doing the same thing every single day. So wake up, go to the gym, make my coffee, do my auditions and blah, blah, blah. And then sit down and play Call of Duty. And, so that's my structure. But then the ADHD part of my brain likes when I'm on set to where every set day is different and my call time is different and I have different scenes to do. So I think I said it the opposite way, but that's what I meant.
I wasn't sure which way you said it.
I'm not sure either. So I just had to make sure that I got that across.
No, but I definitely get you. You need structure, and then you also need fun, especially when you have autism and ADHD. You need structure, but then you need fun, and it's important to include both in your day. And now that I know about myself, on a more intimate level, I know that I have to have some fun in my day-to-day. Something fun needs to occur, but then I need to operate within the framework of some type of a routine schedule. And all of those things help to regulate your nervous system. And I see a lot of undiagnosed neurodivergents walking around with dysregulated nervous systems. Their nervous system looks like it's gotten into a fight with Mike Tyson. Like you're just tired all the time. You're angry all the time. You're moody. You're screaming at your children. You're lashing out at people who didn't make your situation worse. Like you made the situation bad, and now you're lashing out at other people, all because you're dysregulated. And when you're dysregulated and you're making major life decisions, you almost always make the wrong call. Where to live,
so good.
Who to date, what to do. But because you're dysregulated, you're just making mistake after mistake after mistake. And by the time the smoke clears, years have passed and you're in the wrong relationship. You're already married to somebody.
Relationships,
It's important to pause and really sit down and figure out what's going on. But how do you know what's going on if you don't have a fundamental understanding of yourself? Too many people walk around and they don't know themselves. And one thing I get a lot, people will normally comment on my videos and they'll say, "Oh man, I really needed this video. I wish I'd seen this years ago. I wish I had learned about this years ago." To which I reply, this video is hitting you at the right time. Because years ago, you wouldn't have made a change. You weren't ready to make a change back then. But now, because of what life has put you through, and thanks to this algorithm, it's put this video in front of you, and you're ready to make a change. If people aren't ready to make a change, there's nothing you can do. One thing we do with people who have a lot of substance use disorders, we'll do something that we call motivational interviewing. And this is assessing how ready they are to make a change before talking about the change. Because if somebody's not ready to give up pot and you're telling them about, the dangers of psychosis, this, that, and the third, it's a waste of your breath. They're not ready to make a change.
Totally.
But when they are ready to make a change, now we can take the actionable steps. So that's kind of how I view with people who are either undiagnosed or, maybe they are diagnosed, but they're not ready to make a change.
Yeah.
Like when you're ready, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And the algorithm being so accurate, it will put the video on your phone.
Yep.
when you've been thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you need it the most.
Yes. When you need it the most, you'll see our faces pop up on your phone and be like, am I autistic? No.
That's the experience that people are having.
Yeah, I know. I see the comments and I'm like, a lot of people are kind of they're like, thanks to you, I went and got diagnosed and I feel like I'm actually on track for the first time in 30 years. Yeah. And that's a great feeling.
And it means a lot. And nobody is waking up on a random Sunday and thinking to themselves, I'm going to go get tested for autism. Things have to happen in your life that make you feel as if you can't connect with people.
Yeah.
That makes you feel as if you can't hold on a job. That makes you feel like you have to isolate and that you're burning out quicker than most. And then when you see all these incongruencies in your life, then you're like, you know what? Something is going on, but I can't quite put a finger on it. Then you come across my content and you're like, that is exactly how I am.
Yeah.
Boom. Now you have the motivation to go seek professional help.
Yep.
But until it costs you in some capacity, you're not doing anything.
That's so true.
Yeah. And we can go to the text post now.
Oh, yeah.
And see what we got before we go into our question.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And Q&A.
Okay. I got a lot of these. Okay. ADHD is spending 5 business days dreading a task that ends up lasting shorter than a bathroom break. I mean, we've already touched on this in this podcast, but yeah, procrastinating things that you could have done in 10 minutes. And then you're like, wow, that wasn't that bad after all. But you never learn. That's the thing, is like you'll be like, wow, I did that in like 2 seconds. But then you'll do it again. You'll do the exact same thing. You'll wait until the last second to do something else. And you're like, wow, I stressed about that for 2 weeks straight. I didn't have to.
Being proactive and taking action will help you defeat anxiety.
Yeah.
And my rule is that if something can be done in less than one song, I have to do it right there and then. If I can cut on one Drake song and I can knock out a task, let me cut on that song and knock it out, because I have to make the task fun for myself.
Yeah.
A lot of people who have ADHD, we're not having enough fun.
Yeah.
Everything is boring, like something that you're dreading.
Yep.
So cut on your favorite song and then get to the task.
Yeah.
Straight like that.
Love that. Oh. What? Oh. I was like, what? Yeah. I was like, what is she trying to tell me?
And she's like, clock it.
I know.
Is that how y'all do it?
Yes, clock
it. Like this.
ADHD is basically autism, but you like the idea of going out more than the actual experience of going out. Yeah.
I can relate to that. You want the invite to go out, but you don't actually want to go out.
Yeah.
Or at least not all the time. Yeah.
It's like, for me, I'll go out with my friends, but I think we talked about it in this episode or the previous episode, where I'm like, at a certain point, I need to go sit in a quiet room by myself. So like when I'm done, when I go out, like I like the idea of going out. You get there, hang out for an hour or two, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. I need to go home. So like sometimes, but if I can't leave for whatever reason, I'll just like escape to the bathroom, and I'll just like sit there and like counting down the minutes till I can go home. Or the True Emily special is my favorite, which is an Irish exit.
What was that?
An Irish exit. You don't know what this is? It's when you're like out with your friends and you just go home. You don't tell anybody you're going. You're like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and then you just leave.
Okay, wow. How's that for a dead social battery?
Oh my God, yeah. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, I don't want anybody to be like, oh no, Emily, stay. No. And I'll like, I don't want that, because I'm a pushover, so I will stay.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm just going to leave. And then somebody will text me 30 minutes later. They'll be like, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm home. They're like, what? We didn't even see you leave. So yeah, that's the favorite for sure.
See, this is one of the biggest reasons why having a group of friends that you can unmask around is so crucial. Because for me, if I'm leaving an event here in LA, I may have to stay for a little bit, network, and tell people, okay, all right, I'm trying to leave. But at home, like with the boys, once one of us, we're done, there's no explanation.
No. Just everybody go.
All right, I'm a fuck with you.
Yeah. See you later, twin.
They just head out. It's so nice to be able to leave a function when you just have nothing.
Yeah.
Because when your social battery is dead and you stay in the social situation, you're gonna be moody. You're gonna be upset.
Yeah, I get really like on edge.
Yeah, it's gonna throw off the vibe.
Yeah.
And whether they know it or not, it's just better for us to go home once our social battery gets really to 15%.
Yeah.
I don't like to let it get to 0, because once it's dead, then
dead.
I gotta go home.
Yeah.
That might be when it's time for an Irish exit. When you get to 0%.
Exactly. When you get to 0%, you're like, I can't even talk to anybody anymore. I just gotta go. What
are some of the earliest signs that your social battery is dying?
I start looking at my phone more. Because I think if I can tunnel vision on my phone, then I can block everything out that's going on around me. That, and then I just I feel like I do one of these where I'm just
yeah,
kind of looking around, fidgeting. I'll start fidgeting a lot. And then also when my friends are like, "Oh, do you want another drink?" I'm like, "No, I'm good." They're like, "Emily, that's not like you." And I'm like, I'm just good. I'm ready to go. But I also have really great friends to where they're like, okay, we can see that your social battery's done. So just go. It's all right.
That's good.
Yeah.
I can relate to looking around, because when my social battery is dying, I do that thing where I kind of look around like this and I'm not paying attention to whoever's talking.
Yeah.
And I look down for a little bit, and then inside my head, I'm thinking to myself, "Man, I'm done. I gotta go."
Yeah.
I
start fantasizing about my bed.
I start calculating how long it'll take for me to get home.
To get home, yeah.
How far am I from home? How far am I from the car?
Yeah.
It's time to go.
So real. That is so real.
Can I call an Uber? Get out of here.
Yep. That is so real. All right.
Get to the question.
Hello, I'm a mom to an ADHD college student. Your videos help me understand him so much better. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. May I ask, do you take virtual patients? He is cognitively impaired Black man at HBCU. He needs supports from cultural and male perspective. Also, may I ask, if ADHD, do you need to medically address the ADHD part with meds first to function, then get therapy to strategize for his comforts with autism?
That's a great question. So first and foremost, thank you for your attention. I appreciate that. Second, I'm not taking on any additional clients at this time. I already have a full caseload, and I'm about to go on tour. With the comedy tour, so that's going to be too much for me, so I know my limits. And thirdly, if that's a word, she mentioned having a son with autism and ADHD and not knowing whether to medicate the ADHD part first. So what I would say is your son who's in college who has autism and ADHD needs to be understood. So the fact that you're even sending me this question is a really good sign, because you're aware of the fact that he needs some type of help. So that's a good sign right there. And having people in your corner who can advocate for you, all of those things are things that I don't think you want to just neglect. That's going to be very helpful. So he has a good mom, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, when you have autism and ADHD, medicating your ADHD, I think, is a good idea, because what that does is it lets you know what you need to address after that. Many times people will take ADHD medication and it'll make their autistic symptoms more prominent, because the ADHD is the more boisterous of the two conditions. So if you treat the ADHD, then you get to see how much impairment the autism part is causing. And with autism, You can't take medications for it. And the medications that you take for autism help with irritability and anxiety. And if you can reduce mood swings and irritability and anxiety, you help to improve somebody's ability to communicate. So he may not need meds for that, but whatever you can do to help him communicate will be good. So being in an area where he can regulate himself is helpful. Having people around him that support him is helpful. Him working on a system that works for him, whether he needs to listen to audiobooks instead of actually reading the books, or whether he needs to go to sleep a little earlier and wake up in the morning and have a set routine. Whatever he needs to do to regulate himself will help him. It'll help improve his communication skills. So with the autism, that's what you're looking for, how well he's able to communicate his needs and articulate himself.
Ditto. Yeah. Exactly what I was gonna say.
She's like, yeah, I would have given the same.
No, all that's I mean, from somebody who got medicated for ADHD, I have found that everything else with the autism has been able to fall into place of how I need to address certain things in my life and how I need to approach certain things in my life. Whereas before, it just felt so confusing and it was so much to deal with. Now it's like I have the focus and the energy to focus on what I need to do to improve my autism symptoms. So I definitely think the medication first is going to be super, super helpful. And then the therapy on top of that to try to help regulate your autism symptoms, I should say, is definitely the way to go. And like Kojo said, good on you for sending the message, but also being open to your son even getting diagnosed. We talked about it earlier, but there are a lot of parents out there, especially immigrant parents and Black parents, that think, oh, well, no, my kid's totally fine. My kid doesn't have autism. My kid doesn't have ADHD. So even the fact that you took that step to get your son diagnosed and want to support him in that way is really special. So.
Yeah, it is. And I'll say one more thing.
Yeah.
In the Black community, a lot of autistic kids are punished for having autism. Mm-hmm. They're being spanked and they're being sent to the room, and you're taking away the video games, which is how they communicate with their friends, and you're preventing them from going outside and playing with their friends because maybe they were a little rude to you, or maybe they didn't want to leave their bedroom and come out to the living room and talk amongst you and the relatives. So a lot of times in the Black community, autistic kids, when undiagnosed, can be seen as defiant and rude and standoffish, when what they need is, maybe ABA therapy. What they need is cognitive behavioral therapy. What they need is help in the form of medications. So having a diagnosis is key, but also having people that realize that autism means that you communicate and experience the world differently, I think would help out the child so much. So, yeah. And that's it for this episode. That brings it to a close. It's a wrap.